Hello and welcome everybody. It's me, Pixel, and we are here with another Stars Without Number tutorial. Today we are doing ship combat. We did yo, what's up, Natalia? We've done a lot with this system. We tried to tutorialize as much of it as we can. So we did sector generation, we did several streams that Beast and I did. It was a ton of fun. Really enjoyed the system. Had a lot of great tools for GMs with that. And I'm really happy with the sector that we came up with. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff in there. And then we did character creation with several folks. You'll notice Daniel isn't here today; he couldn't make it just due to scheduling. But we did. You'll notice we've added Beast back into the fold, so we're sort of, it's a little less formal than some of our other streams that we do.
Little out,
But
little in, right?
yeah, some in, some out. It's fine. Um, so we so we did character creation and folks made all their characters. Last time we met on this, we did combat, and we just did like a brief rundown of a couple of different combat you know scenarios, kind of things. And that I thought went pretty well. It's very similar to D&D, and so it went pretty smoothly. This part of it will be ship combat. So obviously this is a space game. Obviously spaceships are going to have space guns, and those space guns are going to shoot space lasers and bullets and all kinds of things at each other. And so this is the part of the system that handles that stuff. This is where it really does kind of significantly differ from D&D, honestly. Obviously D&D does not have spaceships in it and really doesn't have rules in most base games for any kind of combat at that scale. Even if you were doing like combat from one naval ship to another in D&D, it's just not going to be remotely the same as what this is. So this is where the system really kind of pulls in, some pretty different stuff. So we are going to talk about that stuff a little bit. We're going to go over ship combat. Basically how ship combat works in this. Also, it's somewhat similar-ish to Star Wars 5e. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, which is a sort of hack of 5th edition D&D for Star Wars settings. If folks are, know anything about that, they used it on a season of Dimension 20 called Star Trek Odyssey, which was really, really good, and you should watch it if you have Dropout. But this is kind of a similar thing where the PCs will basically be assigned to a department on the ship, or because we don't necessarily have enough PCs, possibly multiple departments on the ship. Okay. So what that means is there's a list of actions that they'll be able to take. And PCs, you should have a handout called Ship Combat Actions that you can look at. And the departments on your ship are broken up into the bridge, which is like your pilot's chair, basically. There's which is separate from the captain, who is more or less just like the director of the ship, who probably is on the bridge, but it's like the pilot and the captain could be the same person, but they're separate roles, because you could, if you're on a big enough ship, have someone who's actually steering the ship, and then have your captain who's doing your sort of Star Trek, raise the shields, fire the guns, do the, like directing people thing, right? So you have the bridge, you have the captain, you have comms, which is actually mostly communications, which is mostly focused on like hacking and trying to hide yourself from enemy sensors and stuff like that. That's going to be your comms. You have engineering, which is doing things like boosting engines, emergency repairs, damage control, stuff like that. And you have your gunnery, which is anything that goes boom and tries to kill your enemy ships, right? So those are the departments. And then you have a couple of general actions that anyone can take. So there is the basic action that people can take is called do your duty. This is basically like just I'm going to do my job kind of thing. And I actually have just realized I am missing a little bit of missing a little bit of information on do your duty, so I have to add that back in here for our PCs. Stand by, everyone. My apologies. I was trying to throw this together and it was kind of last minute, so. But do your duty generates an important resource called command points. So basically, do your duty is like, I don't have anything really special I need to do this turn, but I'm going to aid everyone on the ship by doing my part, and it is going to generate what are called command points. So, you'll see PCs, as you look at these list of actions. You know, on the bridge, you have an action for the pilot called evasive maneuvers. It costs 2 CP. That's 2 command points, right? So in order to take that action, the ship must have generated 2 command points that turn, right? Or it pursue target, which is if somebody else is trying to escape you, you can use 3 command points to pursue them and reduce their ability to run away from you, that kind of a thing. There are certain things that take no command points. Like most of the captain actions don't take any command points, and any of the general actions don't take any command points. So it's kind of a weird balance between like trying to generate command points and trying to use them appropriately against the enemy. So combat begins with an initiative roll, as you would expect in a D&D adjacent game. And then it's kind of a side-based initiative. So what that means is that our heroes will take an action. Will take actions based on, if they go first, what will happen is the captain will determine the order in which the departments go. Okay? So the captain will say, all right, we won the initiative, so we're going to take our turns, and the first person that I want to do whatever it is they're going to do is going to be engineering. And then once engineering's done doing all the shit engineering can do, the captain is then going to say, okay, the next person that I think should go is going to be comms. And they go on in that order until each PC has had a turn, basically. And then once their turn is over, the enemy will go and they'll take their turns, and you just kind of go back and forth. So because it's a side-based initiative, obviously winning the initiative is really crucial, right? Because if you're second, a whole slew of shit is coming your way before you get to act at all. And then so on the turns, as the captain decides, a lot of what people will be doing is like the do your duty is one. You can also attempt to go above and beyond is another general action, where you pick an attribute and a skill check. So you say, the pilot could say, I want to go above and beyond as a piloting check to try to get us in the most advantageous possible position to help, either help the gunners or help evade fire or whatever, right? And what going above and beyond will do would give you an extra command point. So it'll give you your skill level in command points +1, right? So if you have a piloting skill of 1 and you take that action, go above and beyond, you make a piloting check against a difficulty 9, and if you succeed, you get 2 command points. If you fail, you lose a command point. So it's risk reward. Do your duty always just gives you a command point, right? That's just a freebie. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just doing my job as you would normally expect for this department, and we're going to generate 1 command point that way, right? And then and if you are a PC doing this, you must name some plausible act you're going to be doing that's useful, and it can't be the same thing 2 rounds in a row. But anyway, so that's command points, and those are the resources that you generate. So like, how you want to think of this, right? The fire all guns action takes 3 command points, right? So in order for somebody to do that, they either have to like go last, or somebody else has to like go above and beyond before them in the turn order to generate enough command points for them to actually be able to do it, right? And obviously this will start to make sense once we get into it, right? I can't like read all of this off, but one other thing to note, because there's not 5 of us, one of the departments will be like doubled up with somebody. If you have 2 departments, what that basically means is you can only take actions for one department or the other on your turn, but the other department is just assumed to be doing the do your duty action. And we don't have to say what thing it is that they're doing. It's just like you get a free command point for that, even though you can only take actions from one of your departments or the other. That also means you can't mix and match. So let's say, Jacob, if you had the bridge and you had the gunnery or something, right? That might not be how we would do this, but if you had those two sets, right, you can either take bridge actions or gunnery actions, and you can't mix and match. So you couldn't say, I want to do evasive maneuvers and I want to fire one weapon. Even if you have enough command points to do those two actions, you have to pick either I'm doing piloting stuff or I'm doing guns. So, let's see. The other thing that can happen is you guys can have ship crises that happen. Essentially how ship crises work, and this is I'm new to the system as well, so I may screw this up a little bit. From what I understand it is if you are successfully hit in combat, you can choose to nullify the hit in order to take on a crisis. So there's a list of things called ship crises that your hull won't necessarily take damage, like in terms of getting you killed, right? But you might have a crisis that pops up. It could be, oh no, life support is damaged and needs to be fixed. It could be armor is lost, cargo's lost, engine lock, fuel bleed, haywire systems, all kind of different stuff can happen. Some of them are like ongoing crises that just give you some kind of small penalty that persists until somebody takes the deal with crisis action, which is the thing we haven't talked about. You can deal with a crisis on your turn to address a crisis and make a skill check to make it go away. So you have, long-term crises that just have maybe a -2 or a -4 to all of your weapons targeting because your targeting system is jammed or something, right? Until somebody deals with that crisis. Or you can have acute crises, which are basically like, if we don't solve this right away, really bad stuff's going to happen. The ship's going to blow up, somebody's going to die, that kind of stuff, right? Major systems are going to be disabled, those sorts of things. So you can take those on in order to nullify hits, right? But the trade-off is that now somebody has to spend their time and attention fixing that problem, right? So that is where we are. So the first thing that we kind of have to do, Beast, I need to give you a character. So let's start to think about what departments those of us who know who our characters are currently would like to be in charge of, and then Beast, we can kind of see where you fit in after the fact from there. So Jacob and Edward and Chirp Cheaper. First of all, hang on. Let's go introduce everybody. You guys sort of know who these people are. I'm like way into this whole description, but let's remind everybody who we are, and who we're playing tonight. Those of us who know. Starting with, let's say, Bonus Mom.
Hi there, I'm Bonus Mom, and tonight I'm playing Nancy Ponzi, otherwise known as Chirp Cheaper, because I am an influencer. Yes, I can tell you everything that you ever wanted to know about hydroponics on a spaceship, and I am delighted to meet you tonight. Let's grow together, shall we?
Excellent. Oh, I will also say that we don't have on our I'm going to turn off our channel point rewards for tonight because we're not going to have hit die or inspiration for this particular session. That having been said, Jacob.
Hi, folks. I'm Jacob. I'm going to be playing Ed Moretta tonight. Hard-working shipbreaker and miner occasionally, and also sometimes a pilot. Kind of a jack of all trades ever since I lost my job. And, the economy is kind of rough. So the gig economy does pay the bills, unfortunately. Sad and ready to be here. But I'm very happy to be here. So
excellent. And Beast.
Hey, folks, I'm Beast. I don't know who I'm playing. Why don't we ask, instead of it being up to me, I'm curious what chat thinks. Chat, if you want me, this is your ultimate chance right now. I will literally be whoever you want. Someone tell me what to do.
From a list of, there's a list of a few things we can do. There is a list. We have an adventurer who is a multi-class character who is a, let's see. I believe, did I build this guy right? I'm not even 100% sure I built this guy right. I think he's a partial expert, partial fighter. So he would be like a good gunner officer / maybe engineer. There is, I guess, did we name him Landon Trine? No, Landon
was
Trine
the
is a
psychic.
psychic physician who is decent at fixing, pretty good at healing. We have Erekil Ixmund the 23rd, who is a warrior and a Baptist Catholican, I believe. Or is that Sister Xenia? Sister Xenia might be the Baptist Catholican too. They might both be Baptist Catholic. I actually don't remember what I did. Sister Xenia is another psychic, but she is a telekinetic. And then there's Akcha, who is a partial adventurer, psychic warrior. So he's kind of like a Jedi a little bit. He has like telekinesis and he can use a blade. So those are kind of the characters I have. I don't know if anyone has preferences on those. But any of them I think would make decent gunners, except maybe Sister Xenia, who's probably not good at shooting stuff. So that having been said, I'm Pixel, everybody. Welcome. I'll be GMing this evening and trying to kind of learn this system with everybody. It is my first time trying to run this, and I'm trying to teach it to people. So if I fuck anything up, put it in the comments, but be nice about it, or I will delete you. That's more for the YouTube crowd. Everybody in Twitch is nice. So yeah, I run the games here at Ages of Einor. We do 2 campaigns at the moment. We have the Curse of Strahd game, which will be Friday, and we have the Region of Bedegar game, which will be the alternate Fridays. We switch every other week. And then we also are theoretically sometime in the near future-ish adding some Warfare streams. We've already done one. It was a pretty good success. We had a lot of fun with that. But where we are kind of showcasing the Kingdoms and Warfare rules by MCDM from their book, Kingdoms and Warfare, which is also somewhat featured on the Region of Bedegar stream, so this will be more in-depth and more focused, as well as some homebrew add-ons from Beast. So that is a lot of fun. And so, back at it, we did not have a response from chat in terms of who they would like to see.
And I picked up
play.
my phone and made a whole bunch of unrecognizable things. If I get to pick, I pick Jack of all trades.
Okay. Oh, I also forgot the sample expert, who is another pilot, but he also is decent at fix. So he would maybe make a good engineer officer. So to reiterate for Beast, then your choices are a sample adventurer who doesn't have a name that you could name if you wanted, who appears to be an expert / warrior, and I'm not 100% sure that I made him correctly. He's kind of like an assassin type, maybe. I don't know. There's a sample expert who is like a pilot, but we already have a pilot. There is Sister Xenia, who does telekinesis and stuff. There is Akcha, who is an alien. He's one of the Thwa. I forget how we even pronounce that name. He has...
Thwee.
Do what?
Thwee.
Yeah, he's a Thwee. And he has partial psychic, partial warrior. He's better at stabbing than shooting, though. Or there is Erekil Ixmund, who is actually pretty good at shooting and is a warrior and a Baptist Catholican. Those are our choices out of the people I already have made.
What are we feeling? Sounds like we need an actual jack of all trades, huh?
Yeah. So, but one of the things I guess we should also talk about before is out of Chirp Cheaper and Ed Moretta, which of the ship departments do you think makes sense for your character?
Well, I wanted to be captain, but he stole it away from me. So
We haven't decided who's the captain.
No, I'm only kidding. No, we don't want me to
Also,
be
I'll
captain.
be
We all
picking up
know we
whatever
don't want-
whatever you guys don't do. I'll be picking up kind of the slack on that. So,
I want to be in the kitchen fixing sandwiches for everybody.
okay,
Mm.
In the middle of a star battle, like
that
there's
is not a
mass
department.
driver cannons. And
That is not a department. Our
Who wants a
department
peanut butter and
options
plasma?
are bridge, captain, comms, engineering, and gunnery. Bridge, captain's
Ed?
comms, engineering, gunnery.
I want you to pick for me, Pixel. You know what
Okay.
my lack of talents are. So where would I do the least damage?
Well, let's ask Ed first. Where Ed wants to
So
go.
Ed has a +2 in pilot. I think the only thing that makes sense is bridge.
Okay.
Ed also has a 0 in lead, so he may be able to fill the double role of captain if there is no one who has a positive or has a flat lead skill.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to look at my lead. Where do I find that?
It is on your skill list, which is kind of in the middle of the under your
Over on the
character
right side?
on the right side under
There
your
it is.
attributes.
There it
Yeah.
is. There it is. Oh, I'm a -1 lead.
Yeah, I think you're better at
I don't have any
Administer
positives
than
at
lead.
all. I have
well, you're good at
zeros.
you're actually really good at fixing. So you should probably be in engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Oh
that
yeah,
makes
I
sense.
do have a positive in engineering.
Yeah, and you're also an expert in engineering, which means you roll 3d6 and take the highest 2, which basically means you have what amounts to advantage on engineering checks.
okay. So I'm the
Um,
engineer.
So we've got an engineer, we've
Is
got a
that who
pilot.
Scotty? Is that Scotty on Star Trek?
Yes, that is
Yes.
Scotty on
Beam
Star
me
Trek.
up, Scotty. Okay.
Yeah. So that's engineering. So we've got bridge and engineering. We have left captain, comms, and gunnery. I think gunnery is the next most important thing, if I'm being honest. So I
All
think
right.
we should pick probably Erikiel Ixmund has the best shoot skill. Which
Yeah,
is what
you
you're gonna
wanna-
want in gunnery.
You
So-
want to make that
Yep, I will
character
throw him
sheet
your
available
way.
to me, and I shall get into character. I'm in space. I'm in space.
What
Space, you're a
seems
Bapto
logical to me
Catholican.
is if I do one thing and you two gentlemen do two things. That's what I think.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I will have an NPC be the captain. That way, I can help you guys a little bit, since I've read through this before and sort of know how it works. And do I have anyone with a lead skill in my list of people? I probably don't.
Okay, so I have a +1 to shoot. And I have a +1 to exert.
Yes. You also have +0s to punch, stab, and notice. And so you take a -2 penalty for anything you have a -1 in. You don't take any negative penalties to things you have +0s in, and you get +1 to anything you have +1 in.
Got
The
it.
skill checks are a 2d6 instead of a 1d20 system, so the bonuses are smaller, if that makes sense. Okay, I don't have anybody. I think we're just gonna have a random ship captain who has a +1 in lead, and I'll just have him be, I don't know, just somebody. It doesn't really matter.
Captain Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, right. Actually, I guess I wonder, does Nope, you don't.
Captain Blanco Vanilla.
Yeah, I don't think anybody made any characters that have lead except for Ed, but that's fine. You're already playing Ed. So yeah. So that leaves us with comms and it just actually leaves us with comms. There's only one more, right?
Right.
Does anybody have anybody who is good at programming? I don't think we do.
I'm -1.
-1.
Okay. So tell you what, why don't I just take Captain and comms as like NPCs, comms probably won't do a lot because we don't have anybody that's good at programming. but that it probably will be fine. So, okay, cool.
What's the worst that could happen? Right?
Yeah, right.
Has my
Um,
email gone out? I sent out an email last week and I haven't gotten a response yet. Oh.
Yeah, right. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking is that we'll try to do things by just sort of jumping in, basically. So begins with an initiative roll, one made by each ship involved in the combat. Normally, as the captain, I would make the roll, but I would like one of you to go ahead and roll a D8 for me. I also should make sure that you guys have a handout called the Free Merchant in your, not a handout, it's a page called the Free Merchant in your list thing. Okay, Beast roll 3.
Yes.
Brutal. That is the ship that you guys have. A Free Merchant is basically like a cargo ship that has some gunnery capacity on it. And a bunch of cargo and stuff. It's what's recommended as like the basic starter ship for the game. I'm just taking the example one that they gave us for you guys, and I'm gonna run 2 combats with it. Hopefully. If we have time, we'll see how things go. So we've rolled initiative. It looks like they have won initiative. So what that means, actually, I'm going to try and put on a little music here. Do I have anything that would even be good for this?
What's the name of our ship, friends?
Yeah, do you guys want to name your ship while I make sure I know what happens next?
Trying to think of one. The Shitty Dipper.
I was thinking like the unlikely.
I was thinking last
Domitable.
resort.
The last resort. That's
I like the
That
last
is
resort.
good. That's
the
good.
domitable.
Abominable. Okay.
Not the worst. Oh, that was shit. That excuse me. That was the name of the ship on
That's the Dimension 20. The Star
Dimension
Trek
20
Odyssey.
Starstruck. Right.
The
It was
worst?
they were a giant hot dog and they called themselves the worst.
Well, of course
Inspired.
they did.
Truly inspired.
Okay. So, are you guys looking at the big... You're looking at the
That's
map, right?
That's a sailing ship in the stars.
I have so many screens up of
Pressure Planet,
actions
baby.
and whatever. There's no room
Okay, and
left
so what are you guys
for.
calling this thing?
I think the last resort was
Okay.
kind of what we went with.
Okay, so you guys are the last resort. And your... let's see. And this represents the Free Merchant. There is your HP. Nope. Oh god, I don't know how to find the ship HP in this thing. NPC
Fuel,
thing,
life
setting,
support,
ship.
speed, armor, hit
Ship
points,
AC.
20.
No, I'm sorry, I'm looking at different things. Ship AC, ship HP. In the when I'm making a token, I can actually have it set to be the ship AC, which is kind
Nice.
of bam, beautiful. And then actually, I want one of these to be ship. Bam. Okay, great. Okay, so we have the last resort, and you guys are starting up against two strike fighters.
Captain,
which
strike
are
fighters.
Smaller ships than what you guys have. So these are, think you're like single fighter pilot ships, right? So they're smaller and more maneuverable, but they have like, come on, faster.
Comms officer, send out a hail request. I'd like
On
their
screen.
intentions to be known.
I need to look at there. We got a 8 hit point.
It's just some tentacle face thing going. I see. Well, there's no reasoning with them.
I took Intro to Blargian in high school.
A noble language.
Okay, so we now have our ships. I just needed a way to like track HP and stuff. Is basically what's going on. We have our ships, so they are gonna go first. So I will say I've put these things in the hexes just as like placeholders. The ship combat in this game is pretty much theater of the mind. They don't really have it set up for like tactical combat of like I'm gonna go hide behind this asteroid and then duck around and shoot. It's just more like narrative, if that makes sense, as you're like, and the ship turns are not these like 6-second increments. It's like 15 minutes of like shit happening, right? So in a single turn, you would have time to like race down to the engine room and like put out the fire and, you know, like wrench and solder things together and all of that kind of stuff you can imagine your character doing in the course of a single turn of combat as you guys are like flying around and shooting at each other. So we start with these guys. Let's see. They start with 4 CP that I can use on things against you guys. Or they just have 4 CP to use. So,
Cheaters.
I think the thing... They don't take captain actions. So I think that they're going to just... Both of them are going to fire all guns at you. Which is really just the Reaper battery. So I want to look at the fire all guns action and see what it says.
A typical Blargian greeting. They're firing all their guns.
Okay, gunners fire all weapons on the ship, designating targets as they wish. Actually, they can fire their one weapon twice, and it's more efficient. So you're going to have a couple of attacks coming at you. Whew. And they have... I guess they get a... Hang on. I got to look at their example starship. Their crew skill is +2, so they do get a +2 to these rolls. Oh, that's the attack bonus. I see what that AB is now. Great. All is well. Okay. Sorry, friends. That took me a second. We are all learning this together. So, you've got what is going to amount to 4 attacks coming your way. This might be too hard of a combat. I don't know. First attack, as they just come up on you, is a 7 versus your AC. I don't think that's
Our AC is 14.
Okay. Second attack, 3 versus AC.
Typical clumsy shots, these Blargians.
Okay, that is a 20 versus your AC. So that is
Captain, we've been hit. Our system's critical.
that is going to hit. Yes. Okay, so
I misjudged them.
now we are going to look at attacks and damage. When a ship fires a weapon, it can choose any target involved in the combat, either gunnery department, blah, 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 blah. The gunnery head is always able to spend 1 command point to fire, but their nominees may be the ones actually manning the guns. The gunner rolls a normal hit roll using their base attack bonus, plus their shoot skill, plus their dex or int mod. If flying a fighter class ship, pilot may be used in place of shoot. Foci that normally give bonus to shoot attacks, such as gunslinger, do not apply to ship combat, etc., etc. The luck ability of the warrior class may be used once per fight to hit with ship guns, but cannot be used to negate a hit against your ship. So, Arakeel, you are a warrior, I believe, and you do have like a luck ability. So you can use that if you miss an attack roll to just choose to hit instead. Armor can negate damage from a hit if it's strong enough. If armor completely negates the attack, it cannot damage ship systems. Sufficiently skilled gunners can use a target system action. If a ship's reduced to 0 hit points, fighter hulls are instantly destroyed. Larger ship hulls are damaged and crippled. If the ships can take no action and will explode within 2d6 minutes unless chief engineer does some stuff. Okay, so essentially one of the important things about this system to note is that your armor detracts from... You have AC and you have armor, and your armor detracts from the damage that you take. Okay? So I think you guys have 2 armor,
Yes.
So you were dealt 7 damage. -2 is actually only 5 damage on that third attack.
Okay.
So you take 5 damage to your hull.
Do we change our hit points?
Yes. And then
Somebody did it. Okay. Who changed the hit points?
I did.
Okay, you get to do that from now on.
Yep, I'll keep track of our ship's
Okay.
health.
That's another 20 to hit for 6 damage. Now, you guys could choose to accept a crisis in order to negate that hit if you'd rather keep your health, or you can bet on not taking as many hits in the next round.
Let's take the crisis.
I feel like losing half of our hit points in the first round of combat.
Brutal.
Too much.
Yeah, so I think we'll
Okay.
take the crisis.
Ship crises. So, Beast, you spoke up. You said we should do the crisis first. I would like you to roll a d10.
My goodness. Captain, I believe we're experiencing a crisis. So, number 1. It's
Okay.
a code 1.
Code 1. Okay. You get armor loss. The ship has the hit melted an important patch of ship armor or cracked an internal support or exposed a sensitive system. Until resolved, your armor rating is halved, rounded down. Your armor rating was 2. It's not your AC, your armor rating. So your 2 went to a 1. So it's a minor crisis.
Okay.
And let's
changing
say
it for the-
in this one that
Will.
what has happened is your your ship's like shield batteries have been exposed. So they're like easier to hit. And so that is a crisis. Now, in your next turn, which will be happening basically now, one of you can choose to take the deal with crisis action if you wanted to get rid of that. Also that 6 damage is only 4 because I forgot to take your armor off. So you took 5 damage from the first hit and 4 damage from the second hit. Except
Wait, I
you don't
thought we
take the.
avoided
You're
the
right. You don't take the
damage.
damage because you've gone with a crisis. So you negate all 4 of those damage, but your armor is now 1 instead of 2.
Okay.
That's really one of the least worst bad ones you could have rolled.
Captain, good news. Our armor is half melted, but also that's it.
Okay, great. So here's what I'm going to do. It is now the PC's turn. So you guys, as you're sort of like, you're evading and doing your best, and these 2 fighters sort of pincer you, and the second fighter gets in a couple of hits. You accept a crisis, and part of your ship's shields are melted, or your ship's outer hull is melted, exposing some critical infrastructure on the inside of the ship. Now it is your turn. As the captain, I'm going to essentially direct which order I want people to do things in. The captain also can like give orders of what they want you to do. I'm not necessarily going to do that, but I am going to direct what order we do things in. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to have comms go first, and they're going to take the do your duty action and generate 1 command point. Then, as the captain, I'm going to go second, and I am going to take the I'm going to choose the support department action, and I'm going to support the gunnery department. So gunnery department, 1 action that you take will require 2 fewer command points this round. Basically.
Appreciate the support, Captain.
Which means I could give you basically a free weapon attack, is what it amounts to for you. Or you could use it to make your fire all guns cost 1 instead of 3. But anyway, we'll decide that when we get there. So we now have 1 command point, okay, generated by comms. And then I've supported the Department of Gunnery. Next up, I'm going to have, let's say, Bridge. I'm going to leave it up to you. Bridge, you can, you probably know what you can do, and if you don't, you can ask me. So, Bridge, what would you like to do?
We flash to the cockpit where the gray-haired, messy, still kind of dirty clothed Ed Moretta sits. He's kind of pudgy. He's not really a fighter. And he looks and he's, all right. And he looks at a picture that he's got like poorly taped to the dash of his cockpit. I'm going to see you again, Jelly Belly. To a picture of a small child. And he is going to go above and beyond on a pilot check to generate 2 command points.
I thought Jelly Belly was going to be his green slime girlfriend, but that's okay.
That's my cat. My cat's name.
Okay, so you're going to use a piloting check to go above and beyond. You're attempting to beat a DC 9 piloting check. And let's ask this question, just go a little more detail. In what way are you piloting? Is your goal to like, it's not going to have that much of an effect, but I kind of want to get a sense of like the narrative aspect of what we're doing. Are you trying to like set yourself up to be in optimal position to counterstrike? Are you taking kind of evasive maneuvers, not like the action, but is this like a protective thing for the ship? Like what's on Ed's mind as he is piloting this freighter?
I think Ed sees the designator of the shields are exposed, like our armor is reduced. And what he's going to try and do is intricate piloting maneuvers to keep the damaged side of the ship away from the enemy combatants.
Gotcha.
And also at the same time direct the broadsides to have optimal firing range.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay, so make your piloting check. And you're an expert in this, so I believe it should automatically roll 3d6s for you, and you'll be taking the top 2.
That's right. Here we go. Did that roll 3d6?
It did not, so roll one more d6.
Yeah, because one of those was a 1, it looks like.
So roll one more d6, and I'll go into your sheet. I should be able to edit it for you to do that properly in the first place. No. Okay, so unfortunately, Ed, this ship is just not. Oh wait, when we add your speed, I think. Hang on.
Hold on.
I want to check and see. I got to look at the actions. Let's make sure that we know what we're doing here.
I think I fixed it.
Bridge action. So, nope. Yeah, bridge action. Okay. No, it's not a bridge action. This is above and beyond.
Action.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. So yeah, this is a 9.
I think I fixed it. I know that this wouldn't. I don't want this to like affect. I just want to see if it works.
See if it works. Gotcha.
This roll. Okay, that one would have done it great.
Would have done great.
But
okay, so you actually lose the command point generated by comms as you're going because you unfortunately you attempt a fancy maneuver, but the interstellar drag on your ship from the tiny space particle, I don't know, you're less maneuverable because of the hit, and you actually the more highly maneuverable strike fighters maneuver around you and can still get their shots in. That command point is lost. That is it for the bridge. I'm going to throw to engineering next.
Okay. So Nancy Ponzi, realizing that the hull is damaged, is racing into engineering and racing over to where they have the auxiliary shields that are something they normally use whenever they're in a position in space that might capture some additional sunlight or starlight that she can then turn into energy that she can use in her hydroponics lab. But it can also be used to temporarily replace armor because it's made out of a material that is very absorbent. Therefore, it will accept shock damage and hopefully keep that armor from being any further debilitated. How did I do?
Okay. So you're attempting to use the deal with a crisis action?
Yes.
Okay. And so, sorry, what was the material you were going to plug up the hole in your spaceship with?
Well, we have some auxiliary like shields that actually we open up away from the ship a little bit. If we have any light coming from any direction, we can absorb and create energy. We don't keep them up all the time because they would slow down the ship and also keep it, from going into hyperspace.
Gotcha. So you're basically attempting to, through your engineering skill, you're attempting to like boost the overall shields to the ship by adding more power from absorbing like stellar radiation.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds perfectly reasonable to me. So you are going to be making a fix check, and I'm going to give you the difficulty is usually 10. I'm going to give you a +2. You're going to try to beat a difficulty 8 on your fix check.
Okay, how many d8s do I roll?
You roll
For D-
2d6s. You actually can roll a fixed check straight off
Now
your
I'm
sheet.
expert. Do I not get to roll 3d6s?
You roll
and take-
3d6s. Yeah, so you should, but you don't roll them separately. Click fix on your sheet and it should roll it for you.
Oh, okay.
You can roll it like a D&D skill. It should work the same.
Okay,
realized-
and a
sorry.
modifier. Do I have any?
You don't have. I modified the DC instead of modifying your check, so you don't have a modifier on this.
Okay, so submit. And my attribute is that strength?
It's either going to be intelligence or dexterity. You can pick which one. I don't know which one's higher for you.
Okay, let me look and see. It's dexterity. Okay.
No, your intelligence is higher.
Oh, I'm sorry. I looked at strength.
Yeah, your
Okay.
intelligence is higher.
All right. My result is 10.
Is a 10. You were trying to beat an 8. That is successful. You
But
deal
now,
with the
didn't I
crisis.
get to roll 3d6s?
Well, go.
What-
So put your mouse over the 10 there, and you'll see it rolled 3d6 plus 1. Plus 1. for you.
Okay.
Plus 3d6
Okay.
is plus 2.
Thank
is
you.
what-
Now
yeah.
I see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Okay, doke.
Okay.
So I succeeded?
You do succeed. So you have successfully divert more energy. Essentially, just like you don't cover the hole where it exposed the shield batteries, but you do divert more of the shield power to that area to deflect more incoming damage over where the batteries are. So it's sort of like your energy shields are helping deflect anything coming in there.
Okay. And if we match the skill, we pass.
Yes, but also, so normally those checks are 10, but because your plan sounded pretty reasonable to me, I gave you -2 on the difficulty, so you were only trying to beat an 8, so you pass with flying colors.
Okay.
Okay,
Alrighty, very
and then going back to...
But I don't get any
made-
points for. Oh, excuse me.
No, you don't. Jacob, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just realized the expert ability lets you once per scene, you can re-roll a failed check. I don't know if
okay.
I'd be able to go back and re-roll.
Yeah, sure, I'll allow that.
Okay, because I didn't. If not, it's cool.
No, it's
But,
fine. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, cool. So let's see if he's got that dog in him. That's a 10.
That's a 10, and you were trying to beat a 9, so yes. So what is your piloting skill? Is it +2?
Yeah, Ed has a
Okay.
+2 to pilot, plus
Whew.
he's a specialist.
So this could get real interesting. So you have generated 1 plus your skill, so 3 more. So you have a total of 4 command points
Because we didn't lose the
because
one.
you didn't
right?
lose the 1.
So we now have 4 commands.
So the 1 from comms, and then the 3 from Ed piloting like a mofo. And then that brings us to our last remaining department, gunnery. You
I
have
have a
4 command
question.
points to play with, plus you have the support action from the captain, giving you what amounts to 2 free command points. So you have 6 command points to play with. So we're kind of putting everything on guns this turn.
I got a question first.
Yes.
On our sheet, the CP gain, is that where we go to 4 at this point? Like it's there's
I think
armor and then
CP gain is like an NPC thing.
okay.
I guess if you
where do
wanna
we
put-
track our command
I guess you can
points?
track them there. Yeah, if you want to track them that way, you can track them there. That's fine.
Okay, we got 4.
Okay. All right. Oh, also, you guys' armor goes back up. Somebody had dropped
I
it to
did that? Oh,
Somebody
I
get-
love me.
Yeah, there you go.
Whoops.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
All right.
fixing it.
Gunnery. Effective 6 command points at your disposal. What would you like to do?
I mean, it sounds like I should just shoot as much as possible, right?
Yes, probably.
All right.
How
so
did you get to 6 command points?
So I, as the captain, have an action I can do called Support Department, I believe it is, which allows me to choose a department, and on one action that the department takes will require 2 less command points that round. So
Okay.
I essentially gave him 2 free command points as
2,
the captain.
okay.
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
that's how we got to 6.
I apologize for
Effectively
asking
6.
questions,
No, it's fine, yeah.
except that it's the only way to learn.
No, that's why we're doing this. That's why we're tutorializing. I'm trying to like spice up the narrative, but ask as many questions as you guys want. The pacing of this is not that important. It's more important that we kind of hash out how these rules work.
So it's my turn, right? And
Yes.
I can perform 1 action.
No, I think you can perform as many actions as you have points for. I do want to
Got it.
see. It may say that guns can only be fired once per round or something. But let me look at attacking and actions and attacks and damage.
I mean, if we have 6 command points, should we be saving any
Okay.
of those for like reactions?
I don't think any of the reactions take command points to do. Mostly what
Got
they
it.
do is impose crises on you guys. Let's see. So when a department's turn comes up, the PC in charge chooses actions either from their department list or the general action list. So here's one thing that should be noted. If you take a general action, that takes your whole turn, right?
Right.
So doing the do your duty or the deal with the crisis or go above and beyond takes your whole turn to do whatever that is. But if you're doing stuff off your action list with generated command points, those, then you can do I think you can just do as many as you have actions for. Barring these actions, the department head can take as many actions as they command point. A gunnery chief with 4 command points, for example, could use the fire 1 weapon action twice, spending 2 command points each time, or he could use the fire all guns action once, spending 3 command points and leaving 1 left. The department head does not need to get permission to spend points from the rest of the crew. If he decides to burn the points to open fire while the rest of the crew wanted him to save them, that's too bad for them. Traitors or uncooperative department head can only be stopped by PC interventions with a deal with the crisis action. After every department has acted, all excess command points are lost. You start the turn with 0.
Okay. So I'm going to do fire all guns, which takes 3 command points.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that twice in a row.
Okay.
And it says I can designate targets as I wish. So for the first one, I would like to fire all guns at the Blargian ship that actually hit us twice.
Okay. So that is going to be ship number 2. So you have 2 guns on your ship. You have a multifocal laser and a sand thrower. So let's talk about those guns real quick. We're not going to go into crazy detail here, but
okay.
Starship weaponry. Sand thrower. A multifocal laser is a twinned assay and penetration laser module for the frequency of the beam that has remarkable armor penetration. These weapons are popular choices for fighters, intended for frigate or cruiser engagement. And the sand thingy.
Sand thrower. It's a flak weapon?
Yeah. It projects an array of tiny, dense particulate matter. It's basically a space shotgun. Effective against highly lightly armored fighters. Now,
because I am firing all weapons, I get to make an attack with both of those?
Both of those. Also, it's important to notice, if you look at your thing for multifocal laser where it says 1d4 damage AP 20, that means it ignores armor. Let's look at Starship defenses. Or actually, maybe
are we able to ascertain any combat statistics from these 2 fighters?
I actually don't know how that works. I'm gonna be honest with you. So
that sounds like a captain thing. Then. Don't worry about it.
I think you can do that with comms checks or something. I'm not really sure. So let's talk about armor for a second. Armor is the measure of a ship's plating and redundant systems subtracted from any incoming damage from hostile fire or hazardous space environments. Ship-mounted weapons with the armor-piercing trait may ignore part or all of this rating. Ships generally cannot be harmed by anything short of other ships' guns, vehicle-mounted heavy weapons, or carefully placed demo charges. So you basically these things, you can tell fighters are pretty well armored, but your multifocal laser will basically ignore all of their armor, you probably think.
Okay. Excellent. I'm going to make an attack with the laser first then.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, it's asking me for a modifier value.
Your modifier is going to be 0, I think.
Okay.
And then it may ask you, okay.
All right, multifocal laser attack roll is 7. That seems bad. Damage is 1. Seems worse.
Hang on, my bad. Yeah, so you actually do have some bonuses to this. Let me pull up your sheet real quick.
Oh my god, I have so many windows open.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
I need
but
both
we'll get there.
computers.
Oh my
Okay, so you
goodness.
actually get an extra +1 to this because you
Shoot
have shoot. So
plus
I'm going to
one. Okay.
modify the free merchant's weapon here. to
And it says
reflect
I'm
that.
rolling a d20. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So the attacks are d20, even though the skills are like d6s. So you do still have your special ability. You can choose to make this just make it a successful hit if you want, although you've only rolled 1 damage. So I don't know if you want to just.
I'm gonna see what the sandblaster can do.
Okay.
Give him the sand. +1, right?
Yes.
Coming at you.
Come on. Oh, much
16.
better.
16
And
is
5
their
damage.
AC. So, however, they do have 5 armor.
Oh,
So,
come on.
now the sand thrower has the flak power. Let me see what flak does. Yeah. So let's see what flak means. Flak. These weapons lost vast numbers of small particulate energy to projectiles, are particularly dangerous to small ship, rely on speed against fighter class hulls. These weapons roll hit rolls and damage rolls twice and take the better result. So you actually have.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I can roll 2d4, and I can, if it's more than 5, I can deal damage to this thing.
Yes. You roll another 2d4 if you want.
That is exactly,
That is exactly
4,
4.
which
Okay.
is worse.
Yeah.
Mm.
I should also mention there's another thing you can do. Not that I'm saying you should do this, but just to make sure you're
Mhm,
aware you
mhm.
can. As a gunner, you can take an action called Target Systems. It gives you a negative bonus to hit, but if you do still hit, you can target a specific system on their ship and mess it up, basically. Like you could target their guns and make it so that they basically can't shoot you and stuff. However, you don't necessarily have to do that. And taking both of the actions that you've outlined will use all your points. But I do want to point out that you have that for future reference.
So,
and we are going to go ahead.
Arakeel we see him in the gunner's seat, firing off a laser while he's not even looking. He's staring at something on the wall when he shoots. He misses. Well, let's see how he likes to pocket sand. And he hits a big red button that flushes a bunch of sand out. It harmlessly bounces against the other ship. Oh, that's fine. I'll just do it all again. And I'm going to fire all weapons one more time.
Okay.
Here comes the laser. That's an 8 to hit.
For 2 damage. You can choose to succeed if you want with your skill and just deal 2 damage directly to their hull.
And what does my skill use? Is there a recharge to that, or is it
It is
something that I
once
can
per
just...
scene, so that does mean once per this fight. So you could try and hold out for more damage. You did only roll the 2 on a d4 there.
I'm
That's
gonna
up to you guys.
I'm gonna make this one stick. I'm gonna do the 2 damage
Okay. Do
with
the
the
2 damage.
laser.
Okay.
Again, not looking, one hand on the joystick, staring at the wall. Pew 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 pew. God, stars, you're good. And we're gonna roll a sandblast attack. That's a 2 to hit. And as
You do
as
roll
the
with advantage,
camera-
though, so go ahead and just make a second attack. And you can use whichever
okay.
one's higher. Yeah, so you both roll to hit and damage rolls with basically advantage.
That's a 20 to hit.
20,
5
and
damage,
we can take the
which-
second 7 damage, which
Nice.
is 2 more.
And as the camera swivels around, we see Arakeel pointing directly into a small mirror mounted on the wall. I'm gonna see you in hell, buddy.
And you unleash these lasers and sand thrower shotgun space, flak shots off into this fighter. You damage it pretty badly. You've knocked some holes in this thing's hull, and it is looking a little ragged. It cannot take another round like that. If it has another round like that one, it is hosed. However, that does make it their turn.
Just a matter of time.
So, you are. There's basically going to be. Oh, you know what we're going to try and do? We're going to do some funny stuff. Okay, so on the enemy turn, on their first, the unhit guy is going to take his 2 attacks on you guys as normal. That's a 4 and a 4. They rolled the same exact thing twice. So they do not get through your AC. So he is taking this Reaper Battery attack. So I don't know what a Reaper Battery even is. Let's look at this thing so I can find out, huh? Stepped tapping of the spike drive power plant allows for emission of a torrent of charged particles. Particles have a very little armor penetration, but can fry a small ship's power grid and a strike or 2. So they're basically launching these. They're like funneling engine power straight to their weapons and lobbing it at you in laser beams. Wild. What a wild thing that they're doing. But they don't get through your AC. Your ship's hull is too thick, and your shields are too strong. They are not able to get through. The second one is going to take an engineering action to attempt emergency repairs. No. To attempt damage control, I think. So they're going to roll 2d6 plus 2. That is an 11. Damn, what a roll. Okay, so they are successful. They repair a number of lost hit points equal to your fixed skill times 2 for fighter hulls. So their fixed skill is 2. No, their fixed skill is 1 if they get a plus 2 to their roll. So their fixed skill is 1, so they regain 2 of those lost hit points. As he is frantically trying to... Oh, he can't shoot. That means he can't shoot at you. So he's going to try to repair his hull a little bit, but that means he can't shoot at you because these strike fighters only have 1 person, and they can't take actions from different things. And that basically uses all of their their stuff. So that takes us back to you guys. You have dodged 2 attacks, and then this guy you can see is doing some emergency repairs. I think maybe like a little astromech, like Star Wars style, sort of pops up and is like while he's like piloting the ship and punching in buttons as you race through space. That brings us back to you guys. So, as the captain, I'm going to start off the same way I did before. We're going to have comms take the do your duty action. That generates 1 command point.
So now wait, did we lose the command? We used all the command points we had, right?
Yes, they start over from scratch at the beginning of every turn. So
Okay,
even if
so
you
now
had tried to
you're
save them, they disappear. So you want to use
So
them
we
all.
have 1 now, you're
Yeah.
saying.
We have 1.
Okay.
And as the captain, I'm going to choose support department. I'm going to actually ask you guys, who do you want me to support this round? I will also let you guys know, you can attempt to do a couple of things here. If you want me to support gunnery so you can take more shots, we can do that. If you want me to support bridge, we can attempt to like take escape actions. And if we get to 3 successful escape actions away from them, you just leave the combat. You don't even have to kill them. You just get away, right? So that is an option. That is a route you can go if you feel like you're a little bit overmatched. Or I can support engineering if you think you want to try to take the emergency repairs and get yourself some health back. No, not emergency repairs. If you think you want to take damage control and get yourself some health back.
And that would get us some of those hit points back.
So and it would get 3 times your fix skill, which I think for you is a +1, is it?
Okay, is that chirp cheaper now?
That's chirp cheaper's fix skill.
Yes, that's a 1.
So you could get 3 of those lost hit points back if you take that action. So those are the options. I'm actually, normally this isn't how we would do this, but because we're learning this system, I want to know, what do you guys like strategically think makes sense here? Do you want to just throw it all into guns like we did last round? Do you want to throw it into the bridge to try to get away? Or do you want to throw it into engineering to try and get some HP back?
We don't need to run from strike fighters. We can take them on. Bridge is fine.
Let's throw it to damage control and try to get back up again.
Yeah, you want me to throw it at engineering to gain those
Or
hit points
gunnery
back?
to make more shots. What do you think, gunnery? Because you did some serious damage.
I mean, they're tough to hit because they're small, but obviously, just the more chances I have to shoot them, the more chances I have to hit.
Yeah, there you go. And I don't have to fix anything this go round because we're not in any crisis, and they didn't hit us this time. So I'm happy to stand steady.
Okay. So we're throwing it into guns again like we did before?
Yes, we're throwing
Okay.
it to
Sounds
guns.
like.
So comms have gone. They've taken the do your duty action. Captain is going to take support department for the gunner channel. No, for the gunner department. Next up, let's throw it to the bridge again.
Keeping it up, baby. Ed looks at the now repaired or now recovered batteries and sees the freshly wounded strike fighter. Gives a little half confident grin, says, "Let's put some Evithos stank on this." And he's going to activate the rear left or the rear port thrusters and the forward starboard thrusters to Tokyo drift, deja vu the ship around to provide the perfect shot. And he's going to go above and beyond again.
Above and beyond again. Okay. Roll that pilot check.
Here we go.
You can roll 3d6s.
That's a 10.
That's a 10. You were trying to beat a 9. That is successful. So we are back up to, I believe, 4
points again.
Okay, got it.
So that takes us to engineering.
Okay, so engineering, though, does want to attempt damage control, which now that we've kind of got something going with our temporary shield basis, then I am running the module that determines damage and sees if, computer generated can repair the hull.
Okay.
Or wherever
This is going to take 3 of your command points.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So damage control does
no,
cost...
No. I'm not doing that.
Okay.
No. I'm standing.
Well, so you could do... Yeah, what that would mean is you'd be trading off, and gunnery would only get to make like 1 attack this round.
No, I'm going to do...
You can either do your duty or go above and beyond. If you do go above and beyond, you have to come up with one of your skill checks, probably fix, and tell us how you're using it to help the ship, and roll above a difficulty 9. If you fail, you lose 1 of the command points, or you can do your duty and generate 1 guaranteed command point.
Does he need 6 though?
So we're currently at 4 the way that we were last time.
Theoretically has 6 right now.
Yeah, we're at 4 the way we were last time. So if you do it again, you could get up to a total of like 8. You could allow an extra single attack in there,
but I don't want us to lose 1. So I'm gonna. Yeah. So I am frantically looking around, trying to see if there is anything that we can do to heal the damaged part of the ship electronically without having to send anybody out. So I'm doing my duty.
Okay.
And that gives us. No, doing your duty doesn't give you a. Yeah,
it gives you 1 command.
Gives you 1.
Yeah.
You can, so, although I don't know if he can do very much with 1 command point, to be honest with you.
So we have 4 or 6 now.
You have 5 now.
Well, okay, so before the do your duty, let's start there. Before do your duty, you are in the same exact position you were in last round, which would be 4 command points plus the 2 that are gunner only command points, basically, is what they amount to. If you give him the, if you do your duty, we'll be at a total of effectively 7 command points for gunnery. If you were to go above and beyond, you could push that to 8 total.
Okay, we'll push it to 8 above and beyond. Let me see what it is. Push yourself to help the ship.
Well, I guess the thing I'm saying is asking Beast if you, not that I think we normally in a game would be able to communicate this effectively, but like, does that extra command point at 8 help you? Because like 7 kind of doesn't really help you, right? Like there's nothing you can do with 7 that you couldn't do with 6, really.
Well, if I have 6, I can fire all guns twice, the same way I did last turn. Yeah. If I have 7, I can fire all guns twice and target systems, or I can fire 1 weapon twice and fire all guns once. So basically 4 shots. If I have 8, I can fire all guns twice and one more gun.
But there's a chance you're going to lose one if I go above and
Right.
beyond.
Yeah.
And
If
if-
you lose the point, then we'll only get to fire all guns one time.
Yeah,
and then
so
we'll
I'm
get to
doing
fire
my
extra
duty.
shots.
One gun once. So if we lose one command point, I still get to fire 3 guns. If you don't, I get to fire 4 guns. If you get 2 more, I can fire 5 guns.
So it's a risk
So it's-
reward. You're
so
up
it's-
against a DC 9 check. No, you're up against a DC 9 check, and your fixed skill would be something that you could like roll 3 d6s and take the highest. So it's kind of the same way that that Ed has extra bonuses to that. You have extra bonuses. Also, I will say this: you're also an expert. You also have the ability. I think that means you get to just choose to succeed a check.
You get to re-roll.
Or you get to
a
re-roll
failed
a check. Yeah. So you could, if you need to, re-roll if it
All
doesn't
right.
go your way. So you
I'm
have
going
some things.
for it
Okay.
then. If he says he can stand to lose one and we're trying to learn
Okay.
how,
So
then
in terms of
then-
going above and beyond, how are you going above and beyond? Are you like trying to route extra energy to guns? Are you boosting engines to get into to help with the Tokyo drift slide to help get into better position? Like what thing are you doing narratively to represent going above and beyond here?
okay, I'm going with the Tokyo drift. What it is that I'm trying to do is check and see if there's any way that I can, having brought up those additional shields to do the absorbing and whatever, to keep them from messing with his coordinates. So I'm like calling to the bridge and saying, wait, let me help you with that. And I am working manually at the engineering board to be sure that the extra shields that I brought up do not mess with his calculations on the Tokyo drift.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So go ahead and
And
make
I'm doing
your,
it manually.
Go ahead and make your fixed check with intelligence, and it should be set up to roll 3d6 and take your highest.
Okay, now let's go slow and talk me through this. So I hit fix.
Yes.
First thing I do is hit fix one time.
Correct.
And I don't have a modifier. You said he did, but I don't.
Yeah, you don't.
So I submit. And I'm using intelligence.
Okay, that is a 7. You were trying to beat a DC 9, so you probably want to try and use your ability.
Okay, but now that's the 3. Okay, that's even with rolling a 3.
Yeah, you rolled a 2 and a 3
Okay.
plus 2.
So I'm going to use my special ability, which means I roll it again.
You just roll it again, exactly. Yep. Fingers crossed, everybody.
No, use intelligence, submit. 10.
10. Hey, there it is. Yes, so that is successful. And so yeah, you were able to sort of divert these shields that you've raised out of the way. I think as you like drift, you like lower the ones on one side of the ship and fold them out on the other side of the ship so that it clears the gunner's viewpoint, so he's not trying to blast through these extra panels.
And Nancy
that's-
is stretching out across the thing. If anybody could see her, she's like spread eagled in front of the board trying to reach things that normally
And
there's a
you're,
couple of people there.
I think you're like your little starling, your little bird, like pops its head out of your pocket and just looks around and sort of giving like a chirping noise, like, oh, something's going down out here.
Oh yeah, and he flies up on top of my head.
Very
I'm
fun.
trying to get the camera. Can you see him?
Yes, we see him.
Okay.
Okay. All right, that takes us back to guns. You're at effectively 8 command points, guns.
All right, here goes. We're gonna fire all weapons. First on the damaged fighter. So I guess that's fighter 2.
Okay.
So that's the first attack is a 9.
Okay.
2 damage.
So
save-
AC
Gonna
16.
save my expertise.
Yeah. So 16 AC
Uh,
on this, so it does not hit.
So that's the
Okay.
sand thrower. That's a 21 to hit. Does 5 damage, but I know that these things have 5 armor.
Yes, but you can re-roll your damage because you have base what amounts to advantage because of the flak property on sand thrower. Because
Hmm.
these things are fighter class hulls. I'm gonna put that in chat just so we can kind of see how that is
I
worded.
mean, it's 2d4s, so the chance of me getting better than the 5 is pretty bad.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well,
it's
it's
not
a
like it's not a
free thing. It
resource
doesn't
you
cost you
expended.
anything.
Yeah, you might as well roll it, right?
All right. So 2d4. That's a 5.
Got the 5 again.
All right. So fire all weapons a second time.
Okay.
And at this point, in the gunnery cockpit, what the hell is my guy's name again? It doesn't matter.
Eric Keel, I think it is.
Eric Keel is just like flipping all of the switches like, well, might as well fire everything we got. Who cares to look? Since everyone's Tokyo drifting around space. We're going to do a second fire all guns.
Okay.
So that's the laser, 22 to hit, 4 damage.
Massive
Yes.
hit. Finally, something starts to pay off. Massive laser tears into one of these fighters.
Oh, that's a
and you
bright
can
light.
tell this thing's in bad shape. Like one more solid hit and he's toast.
Let's get rid of all this sand that we carry around for ballast. Not that we need it. It's a 13. So
Okay,
it
so
doesn't
that
hit.
doesn't hit. Oh no, you have advantage on attack
Re-roll
rolls
it
too.
because it's
Yeah, you
flat.
actually can just roll a whole second attack.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
That's a 21 to hit.
Yeah.
5
Also
damage,
5
does nothing.
damage. These things are so heavily armored for being so small. So you keep hitting these things, but the flak just can't quite get through.
I can't see anything through all this sand.
Okay, so that's 2 sets of fire all weapons. You've got 2 points left to spend.
I'm going to... I'm going to target systems with the multifocal laser, and I get to roll this with advantage, right? 'Cause I'm
So
a gun
the
guy.
target systems has to be done as part of an attack. So I don't think you actually have enough command points to both target systems and attack. So it's like to target and attack would cost you 3 total. Does that make sense? It's like targeting system costs a command point and attacking costs 2 command points. So
And targeting them means that it's
okay.
harder for you
It's-
to hit
Got
them.
it. Got it.
so
Their AC would
your
go up.
So I'm
best
going
bet
to
here
fire one
is to
weapon.
fire your laser again is your best bet for sure.
Right. So we're firing the multifocal laser. That is a 17 to hit
for
and
4 damage. Finish him.
Yes.
Eric Keel gives a wink into the little compact mirror hanging above the gun station. You beautiful bastard, you. And without even looking, presses down on the trigger, and carves through Blargian fighter ship number 2.
There's a flash in space as the light is scattered from this ship. If sound could travel in this medium, you would hear a, but you can't because it doesn't. So this ship is just the oxygen inside of it, the little bit of oxygen that's inside it ignites as it is blasted, and its bits are scattered. And the other sort of fighter like rolls and takes evasive maneuvers as you are sort of Tokyo drifting in between these 2 ships. That takes us back to them. They've got 4 command points.
Enemy down, Captain.
God, what are they gonna do? They're gonna double down and attack you guys. They've got 4 command points. They're gonna make 2 attacks. First attack coming at you.
Another 4, please.
That is a 19 to hit for 4 damage.
Cut in half though because of our armor.
Minus
So
2
actually
because of
only
armor.
2.
So only 2 damage. Another
Thank
hit
goodness.
coming at you. And that's only a 9, and you're glad to miss that one because that would have been 6 damage. So he is sort of taking this opportunity to light up your the side that was Tokyo drifting as he sort of has whipped around in a much more maneuverable space. However, you are a much bigger and you can take a lot more hits than he can. That brings us back to them, or to you guys. Okay. We kind of have an operating mechanism here now. If you guys want to just like rush through this a little bit, we can kind of do that.
Ramming speed.
If you want me to just go through it the way we have before, or does anyone have any alternate strategies they'd like to suggest?
I think we go full speed and we ram that ship until it explodes.
I want to ram these fucks, but I don't think that there's a ramming action.
Yeah, there's not a ram, I don't think, in these.
Yeah.
There
If
are some
only.
ships have like boarding tubes. I don't think we'll fight one tonight because I think it's too complicated. But the next ship above what you guys are is a patrol boat, and that thing does have boarding tubes. They could like do a boarding action and send people over. But they have to dismantle. They have to like knock your engines out or incapacitate you guys first. Okay, so we're gonna start with comms. Comms are gonna generate a point. We're gonna go to captain. Captain's gonna take support the department. Do you want me to do guns again, or would you like me to do either bridge or engineering?
I say we hammer down on guns.
Hammer down on guns. Okay, so
Same here.
we're at 1 command point and an effective 3 command points for guns. I'm gonna mix it up. We're gonna go engineering next, and then we're gonna go bridge.
Okay. I
So-
think I just lost my okay.
You can do your duty, generate 1 free
There,
command
wait.
point, or you can
Yeah.
go above and beyond and try to generate more.
Well, the fact that I risked the other one, whatever the game, that seemed to be a good thing to do because he could use every single point we gave him, right?
At that point, yeah.
Now, one of the things you said that, and what I did there is I went above and beyond,
Right.
right?
Correct.
Okay, so this time I am I've already done like the Tokyo drift thing. Am I either still doing that to keep it from going, or is there something that I could do with my my stuff, like maybe helping him? Yeah, I'm trying to help with the Tokyo drift, but I'm also trying to work out calculations where that gun will hit the ship in some extremely vulnerable place that maybe I know, but I don't, or whatever.
I don't know.
Or do I just keep doing what I'm doing?
As an engineer, you could attempt to like analyze their armor through the scanners and say like target them here. I think that's a fair thing an engineer might know. It's like, oh, this is a TC-31 Jackrot fighter. You want to hit that thing where the wing meets the hull. They have a specific weak point in where the welding is typically done by robots, or something.
Okay, so
like,
what I think I'm doing is I am saying all that directly to gunnery. I'm reading all that I can come up with as far as what I know about that thing. Maybe I even like Googled it, and I'm yelling all these things into the gunnery thing and telling him exactly where to aim.
okay.
Okay.
So you're gonna make a fix check. You're trying to beat a DC 9. You don't
Okay,
have
so
the
now I gotta
reroll
get.
from before because you used it last time.
Okay, so I only get to do this one time.
Yes.
Come on.
There
Okay,
it
it's
is.
a 10.
Another 10.
Nice.
That will succeed. So you generate 2 command points. I think it's 2, right? Because your
Well, it
fixed
gets him
skill is
up to
+1.
8 because that's what happened the other time. We went up to 8
Yeah. So it gets you 2.
from
Okay.
6 to 8.
Well, at this point, you're going before piloting, so you're actually going from 4 to 6, and then
Oh,
Bridge
excuse me.
is gonna go. So Bridge, what you got?
Y'all ever seen a 40,000-ton piece of equipment do a flip? And
I think it's more than that, actually. But anyway,
yeah. Ed names off the tonnage of this spacefaring vessel. And then, you ever seen that do a flip? And he's going to go from like mid Tokyo drift, redirect thrusters, and begin to bring it into like a spiral axis to fully catch the ship coming towards the frigate directly, not giving them enough time to react to their broadside and exposing that weak point.
okay. So the weight of this ship is whatever that number is. 3,659,812 pounds.
That is
What's that in kilos?
1,829 tons.
Yeah, that's so basically a 2,000 ton hunk of metal doing a flip in space. My God, it's a joy to watch.
Nancy Ponce, who was already reaching across from two different boards, falls on her floor on her ass. And
Here we go.
The bird flies off.
Okay, make your check.
This is the moment.
Moment of truth.
That's
It's another 10.
All right.
All right.
So we go to 8.
We go to 8. And that takes us to gunnery once again. All barrels locked and loaded, Gunner. Eric Hill, what would you like to do?
Eric Keel is desperately holding on to the little joystick at the end of the gun battery for targeting. God, I wish someone would learn how to pilot this thing. They're slipping and sliding all over the place. And his thumb accidentally hits the trigger for the multifocal laser, firing it off at ship 1. That's a 22 to hit with 4 damage.
And your armor-piercing laser ignores all of their armor. It is a massive hit. It cannot sustain another hit like that.
Oh my goodness, that was on accident. And as he tries to get up, he accidentally hits the ejector for the sand thrower. That's a 17 to hit, only 5 damage, but I can re-roll that.
Re-roll that damage, yep.
Here comes 2d4. Please be 6. It's a 3. It's not a 6.
So that's your first round of fire all guns.
Oh goodness, I wasted all the armaments. But let me try aiming a little bit. And as he gets up to his feet, the whole 1,800 ton ship sliding into place. That's a 22 to hit for 1 damage.
1 damage.
Clips the wing just a tiny bit.
I think your first hit slams exactly where Chirp Cheaper told you to. You go for a second shot, but it evades. It rolls a little bit, and you graze the underside.
Well, eat sand, space freaks. That's a 12 to hit.
You have advantage basically because of that flak ability means you get to reroll hit and damage for those things.
Here we go.
That doesn't hit.
A 9.
So that's your second fire all weapons. You've got 1 attack's worth left.
Eric Heel looks at the heads-up display, which shows the ammunition loaded into the batteries. Everything is empty. There is a single flashing red bar next to the multifocal laser. Well, I can't get no help around here. I'm down to 1 bullet. Nobody can drive. I don't even know what's going on in engineering. And I blew up that thing and I didn't hear a sound. Something's wrong with the dampeners. Oh, well, let's see if this works. Do I get to re-roll?
You don't re-roll that one. So basically, the sand thrower has the flak ability, which means you can re-roll to hit and damage because it's like a shotgun.
Okay.
The multifocal laser has armor piercing instead of flak. And it's really good at getting through armors, but you're not as easy to hit them with. The flak's easier to hit them with, but harder to get through their armor.
Unbeknownst to everyone else, he was speaking entirely to himself via a mirror and wasn't watching where he was shooting. So, that last bullet goes off. Well, now I got to reload all my own guns.
Okay. Now, this thing has taken a massive hit. You guys... God. Okay, here's what I would like somebody to do. I guess I'm going to actually have Eric Keel do this. Eric Keel, I would like you to roll a skill check for me. The one I want you to roll is... not talk. I'm going to have you roll a shoot check, but we're going to treat it like an intimidation check.
Bang,
so you've gotten some good hits in, but you've also missed a bunch. And we're kind of basically determining if this guy is going to break and run or if he's going to stay and fight.
What attribute do I use?
For this, I'm going to say whatever you've been using. Oh, it probably didn't say. Let's look
I
at
guess-
Eric Hill. Yeah.
Let's see. Strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. All the standards.
I'm gonna say
What does shoot use?
strength. It's just, shoot. I think uses dex or int. So I
Hmm.
guess it would be dex, probably. For
All
you.
right. Here we go. That's a 9.
Okay. So that's going to be the difficulty for them of their morale check,
Blag, blag, blag,
which we're
blag,
going to have
blag.
that just be a Constitution saving throw plus 0, I guess. Yeah, they're going to roll just 2d6s. They roll a 10,
Oh.
doubling down to stay and fight, even though they have a very slim chance of actually taking you out. They're just going to take their 2 attacks.
Oh, man.
They've got a
Oh.
19 for 11 damage. Now you can choose to take a crisis instead of
Crisis,
doing
crisis.
that.
Take the crisis.
Take the
Crisis.
crisis. Okay.
Absolutely take a
We're
crisis.
taking the crisis. So this time we're gonna have Chirp Cheaper. Why don't you roll
Captain.
us the D10?
Captain, we're
D10.
experiencing some fatalities down here on the gunnery deck.
I rolled a 2.
That is a 2. You have acute cargo loss. Cargo loss. The hit has gored open a cargo bay, threatening to dump the hold or expose delicate contents.
Not my chicken nuggets.
To ruinous damage. If not resolved by the end of the next round, lose 1d10 times 10% of the ship's cargo.
You know
Which
chickens
we don't even
went
know what you guys are
extinct.
carrying. I guess you guys are carrying, let's see. You're carrying a huge shipment of seeds to a small planet that needs a shipment of seeds in order for their, for their planting season. Basically, it's a vital shipment of important resources to a struggling economy. So if not dealt with by the end of the next round, so the end of you guys' next turn, you will lose some of those seeds. And therefore it would be
Okay.
some of your money if you were making money on this. And we're going to roll his second attack. That's only a 9.
Ooh,
That is a miss.
thank goodness.
Okay. So he lands a solid hit. You guys choose to take a crisis, and you have massive hole ripped in the sides, and some seeds are beginning to spill into space. That brings us back to you all. Okay, so what's our plan here? Obviously, as before, we're gonna have comms take the do your duty action, generating 1 command point. I'm gonna give somebody, whoever would like it, the whatchamacallit.
Okay, well, this
The
time I'm
support
going to try
action.
to fix it.
Okay. So do you want me to
Obviously,
give you? No, you. If you're doing the deal with the crisis, that actually doesn't cost command points.
I am going to, I'm going to try to override the system. Anyway, I'm going to try to stop
Okay.
close the bay doors, what I'm going to try to do.
Okay. So
I mean, I'll describe it now if you want to. Or
no,
you're
that's
trying
fine.
to
No, I'm
who
trying
you
to
should
decide.
go.
So should we throw it at guns again, or do you want it in the bridge?
Well, it's almost like Guns needs to take that thing out worse than I need to save the stuff because
Well,
we got
the thing
it.
you're doing doesn't cost any command points, right? So deal with crisis costs 0
Right.
command points. It just takes your turn. So I probably
Yeah.
want to throw it to guns again, right?
Yep.
Sounds like it.
So Captain takes the support gunnery channel ability.
I do want to say, didn't you mention that even though folks are sort of stationed in one area of the ship, that they have the ability to come take actions in other places? Like everyone could run down to guns and try to do an action if we had enough CP, right?
I don't think so. Because essentially that's only if you have multiple departments assigned to you.
Got
It's
it.
like
Okay.
and you can only take
Okay.
actions in one department or another, right? So it's like
Right.
so yeah, basically the way it's imagined on a big enough ship, you would be in charge of the gun, like the crew who's on the guns, and they're all taking the actions and you're directing them kind of, right? But like we're not on a big enough ship, so you're just the one gunner shooting all the the guns, right? If somebody is in charge of, engineering and the bridge, they have to choose whether they're going to take actions as an engineer or as the bridge that turn. So, okay, so we are going to throw to, do you guys want to throw to engineering or piloting first?
If engineering wants to handle the crisis, piloting is going to keep trying to generate command points.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I will say there are more things that we can do if we had somebody in comms, but we kind of don't. But it's like I'm noticing that we're doing like a lot of this sort of same things here. But if you look at the things that comms can do, they can like hack their communications and stuff, right? Which would add more variety to our turns. But we don't have anybody in comms, so we're just sort of coasting through here. But
I don't know that we need any variety. It's all I can do to figure out to do the same thing.
Sure.
Reasonably.
Okay, so we're throwing to engineering. Engineering, you have a crisis where part of your hull has been blown open and very vital crop seeds are blasting out into the void of space.
Okay, well, I have been assuming that we're like that anything we say, the other people can hear us through an intercom system. Am I right or wrong about that?
Yeah, I would say your ship has a system where everyone on the ship can communicate. Yeah.
So when he flipped the thing and threw me on my ass, I totally lost contact with the whole board I was working on. So I'm going to holler, "Bridge, you're on your own," seeing the flashing light, knowing that the door on the panel to my right, far right, is showing that the bay door is open. Then I'm going to race over there across the floor that is like the ceiling, right? Or whatever. It's all weird, but I'm running over there and again, frantically pushing buttons because I know what I'm doing and override again the system on the bay door and doing emergency close, which is kind of like an emergency brake for the bay door. It overrides everything else and slams it shut. However, doing that, we're going to have to work. It'll take some repair work on the ship to get that door open at any point now.
Okay. Yeah, so you're sort of overriding the emergency sort of like blast door thing. Yeah, go ahead and make your fix check.
Okay, now I got to get to my character
This
sheet.
is going to be a DC 10 on this one.
Okay, so the first thing I do is I do the DC 6, and I'm using intelligence, and I rolled a 13.
Damn, hell of a roll. Yeah, you get that
I'm a hell of an
blast door.
engineer.
You are. You get that blast door shut, and the seeds sort of stop blasting out into space, and your air stops blasting out into space. You have successfully stopped that crisis.
Does that do anything to? It doesn't do anything to the damage points, right?
No, it doesn't do anything to damage or command. Well, so you just nullified the damage
we
entirely in
avoided
order to
that
take that
damage.
crisis.
Okay.
So, very cool. And then we are going to throw to bridge.
All right. One, y'all are all supposed to have your grav straps on. It's ship's policy. So don't go complaining to me.
That's OSHA required.
Second, I'm running out of moves up here. And I'm going to
Well, that's a
stop.
good thing.
I'm going to full stop power and full swap it around. So we're going to like move in this axis and then stop and begin reordering in a full other direction, swapping the other way as this ship flies under us and we can get the angle continuously giving.
So you basically waited until it got behind you and then started pulling like a Star Fox sort of like maneuver to kind of, hell yeah. Truly incredible in one of the less maneuverable ships in the galaxy. But go ahead and roll that go above and beyond check.
Here we go.
What are we caught in some solar winds or something?
Damn, that's three
That's two
sixes.
Three sixes.
I'm gonna say we're gonna double your command. That is absolute crit. That is, there's no crit rules in this, but we are gonna double your command points generated because that is one of the weaknesses of the system is that there aren't crits, and we are changing that right now. So
Okay, so how many crits how many
that's
control
6
points
command
now?
points generated from one move.
How much do you get?
well, no. So your skill, it's your. Let's look at go about. It's your
I generate
pilot
3
skill.
command points because it's 2 plus 1.
Oh, it is
Because
2
my
plus, so
skill is
6.
2.
So that's 6 command points I just
So
generated.
we're at a
plus the
total
one-
of 7.
Woo-hoo.
We're at a total of
Yeah.
7.
and the
Oh.
2 that he gets from the 2 fake 2.
Yeah, so 9. We're at a total of
hypothetical.
9 command points. God.
Did you fix it? Okay.
Okay. Incredible maneuver. That truly works perfectly. You are absolutely in sync with this ship. You fully dupe this guy. He sees you like slowing down after that nasty hit and your cargo's blowing out into space. He's like, yeah, got him right where I want him. He slows down, trying to line up that perfect shot, and then boom, the thrusters kick on and the whole thing just like, in space, doing this mass. Like you can see it's like moving forward, but then it's also like lifting and spinning, lining up the perfect shot. And he's just like looking up at an array of guns pointed directly at his fucking face. Gunner channel, what you got?
Moretta, you learn how to drive. We're gonna do fire all weapons to start. So first off, the multifocal laser. That's a 6 to hit. Does not hit. We're gonna eject all of the sand. We get to
Oh my
re-roll that
God.
because I have
Did
advantage.
you get to reroll? Because that 7 would have actually dealt damage.
And we're gonna do another fire all weapons because
Oh my
none of that
God.
hits. So we're just you see him not strapped in to his safety harness. It cuts into my skin. It's somewhat uncomfortable. And if you just learn how to drive this thing, I wouldn't need it. And just like lasers and like gouts of sand, poo, 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 poo. Just doing absolutely nothing. So second multifocal laser, 16 to hit, which I believe hits damage of 3.
Does hit. Yeah, it hits.
Second sand ejector, which I'm gonna go ahead and roll with
Reroll that
advantage
2d,
because
yep.
even though it 21 to hit, the damage won't get past the armor. Still doesn't. And what are we up to? We're up to 8.
We're up to. We're up
You
to
had
3.
9.
We're up to
You
6.
have 9.
You've used
I
6.
have 9. So I can do fire,
You can
all,
fire
weapons
all weapons again,
one
yeah.
more time.
One more time.
Here goes.
Okay. Do it.
You know
I think
what?
they have
Actually,
1 hit point left.
I'm gonna start with the sand thrower because I
Okay.
rolled that twice. So first sand thrower, 7 damage, but only a 2 to hit. Reroll the hit chance. Let's. Oh, come on, man.
Come on.
8.
God.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Too many crickets.
Ooh.
The final shot from the
Come
multifocal
on.
laser.
Do it to it.
That's 20 to hit
Yeah.
4 damage.
All right.
Oh.
You actually, I'm going to tell you a secret that you actually had killed them on the first shot, but I wanted to let you get through all of them. All right, finish him, Eric Keel. As the pilot executes this truly perfect maneuver, kicking up, spinning, lining the guns up perfectly, Eric Keel's hubris and incompetence caused numerous misses. However,
the sudden flip and the slightly cheap gravitational dampeners mean that Eric Keel, who is not strapped in, is thrown about the gunnery cabin, holding onto the joystick that fires the cannons, firing off every single salvo willy-nilly as he struggles to maintain his stability and to put his feet back on the ground. He bumps into the wall, knocking down the mirror. As he bends down to pick it up, he accidentally headbutts the joystick on the multifocal laser. Pew! And it slices straight down the Vlargian fighter ship. As he looks back up, hearing absolutely nothing as the ship blows up. I gotta tell you, Captain, we gotta fix the stereo system. I can't hear a darn thing out there. Captain.
and I think as
Captain?
we see this, what's happening, we see the fighter. He's like staring like wide-eyed as you kick. He kicks his thrusters into gear, starts taking evasive maneuvers, shots going wide, takes a hit here and there. and we have this like this high epic space, and then we cut to Arakeel inside like the gunner system. It's one of those like orbs that moves around, and it's just like ado. Badu, 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 and it cuts back down. And then we pop back to Arakeel for that fight. It's like cutting back and forth. The soundtrack is chaining before we have a final like adu, badu,
pressed up against the wall. Is this thing even firing? What's going on out there?
Yeah. And we have this absolute juxtaposition of the impending death of this man and his attempts to elude it, and the complete unawareness of Arakeel. And that is going to bring us out of combat.
Okay.
Whew. Well, that was interesting, folks. We made it. We did it.
I was born in zero gravity, motherfucker.
Yeah. So there we have it. So hopefully we do all that stuff right. If we didn't do all that stuff right, and you're someone who knows a lot about this system, like I said, tell me in the comments, but be nice or I will delete you. We've got a second here, because I'm not going to try and run another combat. We don't want to get too late with this. We're just going to do that, you guys versus the two strike fighters. But what were our impressions? What do you guys think? Did we have fun? Was that, what would you change if you could, or how do we feel about it? I know it was a lot of the turns kind of went the same way, but
I guess honestly, two things that stick out to me are that this is somewhat difficult to do when you're shorthanded with a crew. So obviously, just as a trial run, trying to learn all the things, I don't know if individually we should have all been in like fighter ships, like a strike squad, Star Fox style, or if it would have just made more sense or gone better with like one or two more crew members.
Yeah.
But that's
because I definitely felt like the comms actions, you can like crash their systems to give them command point penalties. You can try to like defeat their maneuvering computer and give you extra bonuses to hit. Or you can try and like give yourself an AC bonus from sensors and stuff like this. Or if this was like an overwhelming fight, we could have been trying to take escapes action. So I feel like it was like the overall ship strategy matters a lot. Like it gets very similar when it's like, oh, we can beat this guy, just pour everything into guns, right? But it's like if we wanted to mix and match more and say like, okay, we want to throw evasive maneuvers to add to our AC, or we want to try to fully just escape from combat. There's like different ways that your strategy could be going that would lend itself to other things. But if it looks like you're going to win, it seems like the move is to always throw as many command points at guns as you can and just like blast.
Well, and obviously we're also like a merchant vessel, so our guns are designed for like nuisances, not for like combat.
Yeah, like you theoretically could, if you had enough money, swap out guns and buy stuff that does, like your multifocal laser has crazy armor piercing, but only does like 1d4 damage, right?
Right.
Oh, their Reaper battery had the clumsy feat. They might have actually hit you even less. Hang on a second. I want to look at this thing. What is clumsy?
Yeah, well, Trish, Jacob, what did y'all think?
Oh, it has -4 to hit fighter class hulls, but you're not a fighter class. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
I thought that it was, narratively speaking, I think it's really fun. I think it's hard to do vehicular combat in any kind of tabletop medium. It's just a hard thing to represent. I think that this does a really good job of getting that like Star Trek style, like all power to guns.
Yeah.
I think that was really cool how that was executed. I think with more people, where every department could act independently without like losing that, I think that would have really kind of brought it to life.
Right. Yeah, like if you had a full 5 PCs, one in each department, and the GM not like helping you along, I think it really could have shown a little more. Plus, you also like, we're using a stock ship, but as the game progresses and you guys get money, you can like swap parts out on your ship and mod it and, fully get like completely different things you know, which can change your strategy and how you do. You can even eventually like buy upgraded ships and stuff, you know.
The only other kind of, I guess, the only real issue I think I had at all is because of the reliance on command points to just fire the weapons.
Yeah.
It felt like as a character or as like my position in the bridge, I had no option except generate command points. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to do anything.
Right.
Well, especially because we lose them.
And I think part of it too was the mismatch between those strike fighters and your guns, right? So like, let's talk about that for a second, right? There are other example ships. The next, like if you were shooting at another free merchant ship, right? AC is 14, armor is 2. That means like of your sand throwers, half of them that did like no damage would have done damage, right?
I don't think I ever did damage with the sand thrower.
You didn't,
period.
yeah. If you rolled high enough to have done damage, you missed the attack. But I'm also saying if we go back and say, okay, let's imagine that instead of these fighters, you were fighting another free merchant. You know, here's a flak that would have done 2 damage. Let's see.
We would have done a lot more damage with the weapons we had because of the armor. And I feel like that's the big thing is
here's a flak that would have done 3 damage. You know, yeah, you would have been like more of your attacks would have gotten through. Here's a flak that would have, so it's like the fact that they have 5 armor on these strike fighters makes sense because they're so small and it's hard to hit, right? But it made it hard for you to do damage with anything except your big laser, which only does damage like 1d4 at a time, right? If you were up against a patrol boat, those things have 5 armor, which is crazy. Corvettes have 10 armor. Yeah, so really your free merchant versus other free merchants or shuttles are kind of like really what you need to point at. But
which in like an actual campaign, assuming that we were like going around fighting pirates and shit, we wouldn't be in like a merchant vessel. We would be in a battleship of some kind.
It's a situation where it's like, okay, we start in the free merchant and there's certain fights that you just have to run from, you know what I mean? Because you're like, like we're not going to win this. And then it's kind of like a mark in the campaign when you finally get the ability to upgrade to a better ship. And you're like, oh, when you either steal one and fix it up or can buy one or get rewarded for some quest or something, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh man, now we have this ship and it opens up all these combat options for us. So, yeah.
But I liked it overall. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. Fair enough. I will say I felt like what I saw in Star Wars 5e in Starstruck Odyssey, I think I liked that system a little better overall. I don't know how you would hack it into this system, but in terms of representing ship combat, I felt like that was more interesting.
I actually really like the crisis system where you can choose to basically have to deal with a debuff that can be removed with like a successful skill check. That makes each of the player or the crew's turns feel more meaningful if, you know, instead of a laser cutting through and you know, carving a piece of the ship off, it just like fries some circuits and someone has to patch them up. That feels like a really fun narrative opportunity, like with the whole like acute versus small, and like, oh wait, we took some damage to this thing and it's a debuff, but like it really doesn't do that much to us, so let's ignore it. Like those choices feel meaningful, and I like that.
Yeah, and it does, I think, give you that Star Wars feeling of like somebody's racing down to engineering to get the shields back online, or somebody's, you know, doing this or that. So I like how it just basically lets you say, I don't want to take this damage, but we're going to take this crisis. But some of these crises are bad, right? So you guys got ones that really weren't that bad for you, right? Armor loss and cargo loss. Like you didn't have a ton of armor on this ship and it wasn't a huge difference. 1 point of damage either way. Cargo loss.
Crisis that just kills your player.
Yeah,
if
there's
you don't
one
do
crew
something
lost. It's like you either lose important NPCs on your crew or you straight up have a PC who might die if you don't make the check. There's actually 2 of those.
That's
VIP
cool.
Imperil or crew loss can do that. Or ship damage just damages a ship system. all kinds of stuff can happen to you guys. You know, haywire systems, fuel bleed, which can make it so you can't spike jump until you get to like stop and refuel. So, but yeah, I will say I felt like, given the scenario, and I think part of it was the scenario, right? Again, it could have been a situation where, like, if you were trying to run from that fight, you would have been pouring all your command points into the bridge to try to run your escape from combat thing, you know, and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
cool.
But overall, I dug it. It gave me kind of a Star Trek blends with, and I think just because I was the pilot,
Yeah,
Star Trek blends with like Top Gun.
Yeah, a little bit.
With the like final inversion, I pictured in my head the Top Gun like inverted over the other plane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for doing this. We're gonna go around one last time and do our sort of sign off. A bit of a shorter stream on this one, but you know, less to talk about with this combat. We're just kind of doing this tutorial. So we are going to remind everybody who we are and where we can be found on the internet, starting with Bonus Mom.
Hi, I'm Bonus Mom, and you can find me Monday through Friday mornings on TikTok from about 9:30 to 12:30, running my mouth and crocheting or talking Dungeons and Dragons. I will be playing with back here on Twitch, Ages of Minor, Friday night about 8 p.m. for Curse of Strahd. And I just want to say, because they wouldn't let me fight a word in edgewise, as to what I thought about this whole thing, because the guys were doing all the talking. I thought the combat seemed hard, actually, a lot of low numbers, and it just somehow seemed a little bit scarier almost, maybe just because it was different. But I loved the ability to role play how I was in engineering trying to save things. That felt like a lot of fun and helped me think creatively in a medium that I am totally have no idea how to do. But yes, you need 5 people to play this game. Thank you.
Sorry, we didn't get to learn and let you get a word in edgewise. My bad. Jacob.
Hi, I'm Jacob. Bye, I'm Jacob. You can find me occasionally on Ages of Minor. Other than that, I don't exist, and I'm an unperson.
Great. Beast.
What's up, folks? I'm Beast. I can't remember my character's name, and it's completely inconsequential. But I'm so glad that you watched this. I hope you learned something. And if you're interested in learning other types of narrative gameplay, I am I'm currently in the pre-production phase of putting together a warfare stream using Kingdoms and Warfare rules from MCDM Publishers, a third-party developer that makes modules predominantly for D&D 5th edition. You don't have to know how to play Dungeons and Dragons to do this. It's more like chess with some fun narrative rules. So we have a couple of streams that on YouTube that you can check out. I'm going to be bringing some more live action to you. And if you want to be a part of that, come to Bonus Mom's Tavern. Come to the Discord, come to the Beast Wilds campaign channel and chat. I'd love to talk to you.
Huzzah. And as always, I am Pixel. You can find me here on Ages of Minor, running games, teaching folks new systems. That does it for our Stars Without Numbers stuff. We have done the whole thing. We've done all the tutorials we're going to do. I thought I had a lot of fun with it, you know. Like I said a couple times, and we'll reiterate here, a few months back, we had the whole OGL thing with Wizards, kerfuffle, and it looks like things have kind of evened out with that. They've decided to release a lot of stuff in the public domain, basically, do an open license for that stuff. For 5e, we'll remain to see what happens with 6e, but given all of that, I had decided that it was important for us as a Discord server and as a stream to start talking about other systems. And so Stars Without Number was an easy first system in terms of it's kind of adjacent to D&D, and I already had the book. So that was literally all the thought that went into that. And plus it's a sci-fi game, and you know, there's a lot of sci-fi games out there, but I thought I wanted to like look at one. We may at some point try to run a short campaign in this system once we finish Reader to Bedegar. I'm not 100% sure that'll be the first thing on the docket. We'll see. If I can find cast for that, it's a whole thing. But had a lot of fun. After this, hopefully sometime next month, we are going to start working on our Kids on Brooms sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Tutorial stuff.
Tutorials.
Kids on Brooms, as I've said a couple times before, is another tabletop system. It is kind of a dice pool system. It is based on the sort of magical boarding school world of magic hidden just out of sight or behind the real world kind of a thing. Sort of your Harry Potter-esque type of thing. However, it is not officially licensed Harry Potter stuff, does not use any of their things, and therefore does not pay any money to the horrible bigot who made all of that. As it turns out.
Boo her.
Yeah, indeed. So, we get to play that and not feel bad about it, basically. And that's great. So we will be doing more tutorials. If you are interested in participating in those and you're someone in our Discord server, please hit me up. We've had some people express interest, but we are now in the like hardcore need to be recruiting for that phase. And we'll try it. It won't be exactly like this because the system is different, but we'll be trying to do some world building for it, some character building for it, and then just some quick tutorials on the system. I might run a very short scenario, not even like kind of like these and the combat where it's not even really like a full narrative one shot. It's purely just, hey, we're gonna do a like scenario. You're gonna go through a class or a little scene to kind of show some of those mechanics and how they work, or maybe even a couple of scenes designed to showcase specific mechanics of the game so you get a sense for how it works, because I think that's important, because I would like to run some one shots of that and possibly a campaign of it on the stream and in the server, and I would like to be able to just point people to the tutorials and say, yeah, if you're interested in learning how the system works, go watch a couple of these videos if you would like to do the homework. So all of that having been said, thank you to our wonderful cast for being here tonight and helping us out. We super appreciate you guys, and that is
Thanks to our wonderful game master for running.
Yeah. Is anybody live? I gotta go to work.
VP is,
Yeah, we can-
and
we can
I'm
just
oh,
raid
this is
Vince.
going to be the end of me. I'm going to bed.
Okay, so we're gonna raid our good buddy Vincent Page here in a minute. And as always, we will see you Friday for Curse of Strahd, also with Vincent Page, whom I'm sure you are all following. Thank you for hanging out. We'll catch you later.
Bye.